Cars get put through their paces, on and off the road, dents, scratches and breakdowns. If your vehicle is more than 3 years old, you will have to get it tested every year to show that it meets the minimum road safety and environmental standards. So I've come down to Perry's to find out exactly what happens when your car goes in for an MOT. I'm here in the Perry's workshop where my car has just been brought round. This is the senior technician, John, and John's going to explain why it is so important to have an MOT every 12 months. Is that right, John?
That's right, yeah.
So why is it so important to have an MOT?
Well, basically, make sure your vehicle is safe to be on the road, really, for yourself and for other road users. Make sure your brakes are working as they should be, your suspension's working as it should be, your lights are working as they should be, and also the security of it, your seat belts, fuel system, emissions for the environment, and so on and so on.
So there's everything covered there. It's not just about tyres, is it, and having the grip on the road. It's seat belts, which people wouldn't think about. What are you looking for in seat belts, say?
The condition, make sure they're not ripped, torn, hulled. Make sure they click into the buckles. When they're under tension, that you can release them just in case a customer's involved in an accident and they're trapped.
All right, so you've seen some real strange sights.
Yeah.
Hope my car's all right.
Yeah, me too.
John, is there a special routine for a technician to go by in the MOT?
There is, yeah, there's a certain routine which we all carry out. Generally starts inside the vehicle, and then we do a walk around the vehicle, checking lights, wiper blades, fuel cap, doors opening and closing, tailgate opening and closing, and then we'll concentrate under the bonnet area, checking the front headlights, and then the vehicle will be raised, and there's quite a lot of checks then which we carry out while the vehicle's raised in the air.
Sounds like a lot of time.
Yeah, it is quite time-consuming.
You must have a lot of people coming in who think that their car's going to be fine, they tell you it's going to be fine, and then you come back with a fault that they probably didn't even think of.
You do get that, yeah, from time to time, yeah. People think if the car looks nice, it's going to be mechanically sound, but that's not always the case. And sometimes they can, they can get a little bit upset when you go back with a fail, but at the end of the day, we're making sure that the vehicle's safe to be on the road.
Do you think you've saved lives then, John?
Some of the things that I've failed vehicles on in the past have been really dangerous.
It's a big job, isn't it?
Loose wheels and, things like that.
Just shows you then you should be getting an MOT.
Definitely, definitely.
John, I'm assuming that you're going to check for me on my car tyre tread, seat belts and the brakes. What other things are there that I'm not thinking about here?
Not only within your tyres, we don't just check your tread depth, we check the condition for any cuts, any bulges that's possibly been curbed, we check for punctures, your brakes, we check the efficiencies to make sure it's going to stop your vehicle if needs be in an emergency. Yeah. We check your conditions, we check for leaks of hydraulic brake fluid that could be leaking onto components or even just leaking hoses that are cut maybe. All seat belts, isofix mounting points for child seats, which is massively, massively important.
What do you check on the car that I wouldn't be able to check myself and know there was something wrong with?
I mean, all your suspension components, your shock absorbers, mounting points, bushes, ball joints, trap ends, you would never be able to check them personally. Your headlight aims, things like that. You could possibly check your headlights are working, but you wouldn't know if your headlights was pointed in the right direction. The only way you'd know that is possibly if you're constantly dazzling somebody coming in the opposite direction. Yeah. But we need to check those things and make sure that they are adjusted properly.
John, emissions are a big thing these days. Manufacturers are dropping them as much as they can with the engines. How do you go checking the emissions?
Well, we have an emissions tester, computerised machine. We check fuel cap to make sure the fuel cap's sealed, because the seals can split, which then basically you put in hydrocarbons into the environment. Occasionally we can get engines that's burning oil excessively, which emit quite a lot of blue smoke. Yeah. That can fail. So is it just emissions that you check that the car is emitting? It's not just emissions, no. I mean, we check the exhaust for sound levels. I mean, they don't always have to be blowing to be noisy, if I'm honest. You can get these performance exhausts that are ridiculously big, but that can be then too loud. And when you've done all that, John, do you take it on a road test or do you just give it back to the customer? Once we've finished our MOT test, generally it goes straight back to the customer with a pass, a fail or an advise. John, thank you ever so much for all that information. You're welcome. Big question is, though, has my car passed? It has, Paul, yes, with flying colours, so you're good to go. Top man, thank you. Another 12 months. Another 12 months, brilliant. Thank you, good stuff.